Bonjour everyone and welcome on in. Today I'm going to show you how to install the KDE Plasma desktop version of Debian 13.2, the latest version of Debian Linux as of the recording of this video. Just like I do in all of my how to install distro videos, I'm going to recommend you pause now and check out my how to prepare your computer for Linux/Windows dual boot video, as this installation will be in the context of a dual boot. If you don't intend to dual boot and you plan to just run it by itself with no other operating systems, no worries, you can skip that. I will also recommend you check out my how to install Ventoy video if you would like a great way to create a bootable medium to install Linux from. With that said, let's head on over to step 1, downloading Debian. To download the KDE Plasma desktop version of Debian 13.2, go into your browser of choice, go to the Debian website, debian.org. On the right-hand side, you'll see a big download button next to possibly one of my favorite looking Linux logos there is. Underneath the big download button, click on Other Downloads. On the right-hand side of the page, under Try Debian Live before installing, click on Live KDE. That will download the ISO file, as you can see here. Once that's downloaded, put it onto an installation media of some kind. I'm going to be using Ventoy. I'll show you that in just a moment, but you can use whatever tool you need to get that ISO onto a bootable medium. Once that's done downloading, navigate to your Downloads folder, find the ISO file. If you're using Ventoy like me, just copy it and then paste it into your Ventoy drive, like so. Once that's done copying over, restart your computer, select the ISO from the Ventoy boot menu, and you're off to the races. I'll see you on the other side. Once you've successfully downloaded and booted into Debian, you'll be greeted with the Welcome Center, which just gives you a little tour of KDE. You can close that, we aren't going to use it for now. You can now freely roam about the live environment and try it out for as long as you'd like. When you're ready to install, head on over to the top left of the desktop and double-click on Install Debian. Now the installer will pop up. It's Calamaris. I love this installer. Select your language from this drop-down box. I like to use British English because I'm Canadian and, quite frankly, I like my U's. Once you're ready with that, click Next. Now select your time zone. I'm not actually in New York, although I'm in the same time zone, but for some reason I like to select Toronto as my time zone. Once you've selected your time zone, click Next. Select your keyboard. I'm actually using a English US layout, the default one. Once you've selected your keyboard layout, click Next. Now you get to decide how you'd like to install Linux. First, select the disk that you'd like to install it on by clicking on this drop down at the top of the window and selecting the drive. I'm actually using my Samsung 860 EVO, so I'm going to select that. And as you can see at the bottom of this window, you can see the partition tables. You can see that 2 of them are NTFS. That's my Windows installation. If I was to check Install Alongside, and then select the biggest portion of the partition table here, which happens to be my Windows partition, you can see the after image now has them split in half. You can actually select the middle of them here and slide to your desired amount of space available for each of them. I'm just going to leave it like that. And that is if you want to dual boot alongside Windows on the same disk. If you want to replace a partition, you can totally do that. What that'll do is keep everything else except for the partition you selected and install Linux onto that partition. Do note that will erase all the data on that partition, so you won't be able to dual boot like that unless you have Windows on another disk as well. Erase disk goes without saying. It's going to erase everything on the disk and create a new partition table for Linux. As you can see here, that will also 100% remove all of the data, including Windows. This option's great, again, if you have Windows or another operating system on another disk and want to just have a dedicated disk for Linux. Or you could select manual partitioning and do some fancy customizations. This is for more advanced users who really know what they're doing. For our purposes today, we're going to install alongside Windows. So again, click on Install Alongside, select the big NTFS partition, and I'm going to leave it in the middle there, that's fine. Once you're ready, click Next. Put in your name, username, and computer name, and also your user password. So I'm just going to do flip the bits. I'm going to do FTB as my username. The computer is Fred. And then put in my nice easy password. Put it in again. I do not want to check the login automatically box. I feel like that is a security concern, especially if you're installing on a laptop or a device that's used by multiple people. Your mileage, once again, may vary. You could select login automatically if it's in a home environment, or you're the only user, or you just don't care about security. You do you. Once you're ready, click Next. You'll get a summary of all of the changes you're about to make. If you're cool with those, click on Install. Now, you sit back, relax, grab a coffee, pet your dog, I don't know, go for a walk. Debian will install, and everything will be gravy in a few minutes. Now that Debian is installed, you're free to roam around the live environment some more if you'd like, or if you'd like to go into Debian proper, make sure this Restart Now checkbox is checked, and then click Done. Don't forget to take your installation media out of the computer, and then boot up into Debian. I'll see you on the other side. Now that you've successfully installed and booted up into Debian, it's time to log in with your nice easy password, so type that in. And hit enter. Once you've reached the desktop, you'll be greeted with the KDE Welcome Center. You can read through that if you'd like, but it's not really necessary, so we can close that. You're almost ready to start using Linux, but same as we do for every fresh install, we should probably check for updates. Now, you chose Debian for its stability, which means that it doesn't receive hyper-frequent updates, but chances are there might be a few, so it never hurts to check post-install. To do that, go down to the bottom left on your taskbar and click on Discover. And then check Updates. Apparently there are a whole bunch. And they're all automatically selected, so let's just click on Update All. Type in your nice easy password. And hit enter. Now, depending on your internet connection and computer speed, this may take a hot minute or two. It didn't take me too long, apparently. But your mileage may vary. It says up to date. Let's hit refresh in the top right, just to make sure. All right, perfect. We are good to go. Our next step is to make sure you have a nice safety net in case you go mucking about in the terminal, or you install something, or something breaks and you want to go back to a nice, safe point in time where everything worked and you were happy. And to do that, we're going to install something called Timeshift. Still in Discover, go to the top left and type in Timeshift. Hit enter. As you can see, Timeshift is here. Click on that and click on Install from Debian. in the top right. Put in your nice easy password. Hit enter. Let it do its thing. Now that it's installed, click on launch. Put in your nice easy password again. You're gonna get used to that. I'm going to minimize Discover just to keep our screen nice and clean. Now, by default, Debian formats the partition as ext4, although you can select BTRFS, and I really like BTRFS, but for this installation, it's ext4. So we'd leave the first option here selected and click on next. Let it do its thing. The system files we want backed up are on this one that's selected, SDA3 in my case. Yours will vary. Click on next. Now you can select the frequency you want snapshots taken. It'll take 1 daily up to 5 days. I'm going to do 6 hourly ones, that seems fair enough. And also 5 boot snapshots, which will happen shortly after your system boots up, so you can always just restore to how it was when you turned on your computer, in case you screw something up. Click on next once you're good with this setup here. Leave /root and your home folder excluded. You don't want to have those included, otherwise you're going to fill up your disk so fast that it'll make your head spin. All you want to do is create snapshots of vital and super important system files, which is what it does by default. So leaving these excluded, just fine. If you want those backed up, I suggest using a different method, such as using like B2 cloud storage with Duplicati or something. But that's a video for another time. Click on next. Setup is complete. Click on finish. Now, let's create our initial snapshot, which, if we restore to, will bring us exactly to this point in time with our nice, fresh install. Click on Create in the top left. Let it do its thing. This may take a little bit. Give it time. And now that the snapshot is created, if you ever wanted to restore to that in the future, you would just click on it here and click on Restore. Follow the prompts, and then restart your system, and you're good to go. We're done with Timeshift now, so we can close it. Now, let's get you up in gaming with Steam and Proton. To do that, you're actually going to need to download the Steam installer from their website, so go into Firefox here or your browser of choice if you've installed another one by this point. Go to the Steam website, click on Install Steam, click on Install Steam again. It'll download a .deb file. Open that file. In the top right, click on Install. Put in your nice easy password. Hit enter. And Steam should install. There we go. Now we can launch it. We could also close Firefox or your browser now. When this terminal pops up that says your cache is out of date, just press enter. Put in your nice easy password again. And when it's gone through everything it needs to do, press enter again. Say yes to using the disk space. This may take some time, but be patient. And press enter again. You can minimize Discover and open Steam by double-clicking the icon on the desktop, Or you can go into the Applications menu by pressing Super / the Windows key and typing in Steam and hitting Enter. Have your device ready to use the QR code sign in when it pops up. I love that thing. Sign into Steam. The initial loading user data might take a moment, but then Steam will appear. And you're theoretically good to game at this point, but there's a couple things we need to do first. In the top left, click on Steam. In that menu, go to Settings. Scroll down to where it says Downloads. In the bottom, we have some shader pre-caching options. For most modern systems, if you have a decent spec, you can get away with shader pre-caching. If you're on an older system, your mileage may vary. I personally suggest turning on Allow Background Processing of Vulkan Shaders. This will make it so that you can play your games right away and all of the shader pre-caching and stuff happens in the background rather than waiting 20 years every time you want to launch a game. If for some reason you're using older hardware or it's causing problems, another suggestion is to turn off shader pre-caching altogether. That will also allow you to play your games right away, but you'll have significantly less initial impact on your system. You do you. I'm going to do it the way I prefer by turning on shader pre-caching and allowing it to happen in the background. Now you can close out of here. And also you can close out of Steam fully because we need to go get Glorious Egg Rolls Proton. To do that, we need to go back into Discover. We actually need to go to the Discover settings. And we need to scroll all the way down to enable Flatpaks in Discover. Right at the bottom here, it says Integrate Flatpak Applications with Discover. Click on the little Install button on the right. Put in your nice easy password. Let that do its thing. Once that's done installing, scroll up to where it says Flatpak. Add FlatHub on the right. Put in your nice easy password again. And once FlatHub is on and checked, you can go home and you'll be able to search for Flatpaks. So in the top left, type in Proton Plus. And there it is. Click on that. Install it. Let it do its thing. It may take a moment. And once it's done downloading, launch it. If for whatever reason, like is happening with mine right now, it fails to launch, go into your console and load it manually with this command: flatpak run com.vysp3r visper.proton plus and hit enter. It'll load in. Beauty. Make sure Steam is selected at the top. Click on Proton GE. Install Proton GE latest by clicking on the download button on the right. Let it do its thing. And then install the actual latest version of GE Proton, which is usually found directly under Proton GE latest. And now you can close out of Proton Plus. You can also close out of your console. And you can also close out of Discover. Load Steam back up. In the top left, click on Steam, go to Settings, go to Compatibility. Where it says Proton Experimental, that's Valve's own Proton, and it is perfectly cromulent to use that, but we're going to switch that to Proton GE Latest and restart Steam. The reason we use Proton GE is that it's built on top of Valve's Proton with a few extra customizations, a few enhancements that may improve performance or reliability or even enable access to certain games that may not be as well supported by Valve's default Proton. It's just a little extra quality of life, a little value added, and quite frankly, there's no reason not to. But now that that's all set up, you're ready to install games and have fun gaming in Debian. And with that, you've installed Debian, you know how to install apps, you know a little bit about running Flatpaks in a terminal if they don't work right off the bat from Discover, you're up and gaming with Steam, and you have a nice little safety net thanks to Timeshift. You're now ready to start using Debian and enjoying the wonderful world of Linux. If you found this video helpful, leave a nice comment, share it with a friend, a colleague, a family member, your cat, whomever you'd like, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one.